My name is Clara Monroe, and for most of my life, I lived in the shadow of my sister Danielle. Danielle was the golden child, slim, beautiful, adored by our parents, and praised by every relative we had. I, on the other hand, was constantly belittled, dismissed, and made to feel invisible simply because I was overweight. No matter how much I excelled in school or how kind I tried to be, it never seemed to matter. My body was all anyone ever saw. "You'd be so pretty if you just lost a few pounds," my mother would often say with a dismissive flick of her hand, as if that were the only thing keeping me from being lovable. Danielle, of course, would echo those words, always with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I'm just trying to help, Clara," she'd say. "You'll never find love if you keep looking like this." Those words haunted me for years, embedding themselves deep into my self-worth. I remember one family gathering in particular. I sat at the dining table, surrounded by laughter and food, when my aunt casually remarked, "Maybe you should skip dessert, Clara. Think of your sister's wedding, don't you want to look nice?" It wasn't even my wedding, but somehow my body was still a topic. That trip home lit a fire in me. At first, I wanted to lose weight out of spite, to prove something to them. But over time, it became about me. I wanted to feel stronger, healthier, and in control of my own life. I joined a gym, hired a personal trainer named Heather, who had her own journey from obese to thriving, and slowly began rebuilding my body and my confidence. Heather didn't just train me physically, she helped rebuild my mindset. She reminded me that weight didn't define me, that beauty wasn't exclusive to one size. For the first time, I started believing it. The weight began to fall off, but more importantly, the emotional baggage started lifting too. I revamped my wardrobe, dyed my hair a warm honey blonde, and began wearing clothes I'd always dreamt of but never dared to try. When I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself, in the best way. For once, I stood taller, walked with purpose, and saw the woman I always knew I could be. Danielle's wedding was fast approaching. I hadn't seen my family in nearly a year, and they didn't know about my transformation. I kept everything off social media, no photos, no updates, because I wanted the moment to be mine. And oh, what a moment it was. The wedding day. The venue was a grand hall draped in blush and ivory florals. As I stepped out of my car in a curve-hugging emerald green gown with gold heels and soft waves in my hair, I saw a few heads turn. At first, I thought they didn't recognize me, and I was right. Not even my cousins, who I had grown up with, seemed to realize who I was. But then I saw my mother standing by the entrance. Her eyes widened, her jaw dropped. "Clara," she gasped. I smiled politely. "Hi, Mom." She blinked, looking me up and down. You look, wow. Is that really you?" Before I could respond, the whispers started. Relatives murmured among themselves. Compliments poured in like a waterfall. "Stunning, unbelievable transformation, I didn't even recognize you, you're glowing, you outshine the bride." That last one would become the match to the fire. Danielle hadn't seen me yet. She was upstairs, getting ready. But word traveled fast, and by the time she came down the staircase in her designer white gown, she already had steam building behind her painted-on smile. She spotted me across the room. Her smile faltered. She walked straight past our cousins, past our aunt who tried to offer a hug, and stopped a few feet in front of me. "Clara," she said, her voice dripping with disbelief. "What happened to you?" I kept my smile warm but firm. "I took care of myself. Guess I finally listened to your advice." Danielle's eyes darted to my dress, my hair, my heels. She glanced toward our mother, who had a strained smile and was already pulling me toward another group of guests to introduce me again, proudly this time, as if she'd supported me all along. And that's when Danielle lost it. She interrupted the group mid-sentence. "Isn't it funny how Clara chose today of all days to show off her new self? Couldn't wait until after my wedding." The circle fell awkwardly silent. I turned to her slowly. "Actually, Danielle, I came to support you on your big day. I thought you'd be happy for me." Danielle laughed, a sharp, cold sound. "Happy? I'm just shocked, that's all. I mean, you look so different. It's like you had surgery or something." There it was. The jealousy. Raw and bitter. No surgery, I replied evenly. Just dedication. And maybe a little self-love, which you should try sometime. She blinked. Excuse me, you always thought being skinny made you superior. But look around, Danielle. People are noticing me now not because I'm thin, but because I'm finally being seen. I'm confident. I love myself. You never had that, just validation from others, and now that it's not solely on you, you can't handle it. The guest started whispering again. One of the bridesmaids tugged Danielle's arm, trying to calm her down, but she yanked it away. You always ruin things, Danielle hissed. You couldn't just let me have one day. Funny, I said softly, that's how I felt growing up. The aftermath. Danielle stormed off in tears. The wedding carried on, but the tension never fully lifted. I didn't stay long after dinner. I made my rounds, thanked the relatives who were kind to me, and left quietly, without causing a scene, despite how badly they wanted one from me. The next day, my phone exploded. My mother sent a long, scathing message calling me disrespectful. My father accused me of being selfish. Danielle, well, she just sent a string of angry emojis and blocked me. But I didn't care. For once, I had spoken up. I had shown them who I really was. And no matter how they tried to twist it, they couldn't take that away. Instead of sitting at home wallowing in guilt, I booked myself a weekend at a luxurious spa resort. I indulged in massages, read by the pool, and for the first time in years, I breathed deeply, freely. No judgment. No shame. Just me, in a body I loved, living a life I finally chose. End note. To anyone out there struggling to be seen, to be heard, to be accepted, don't wait for them to give you permission. You don't owe your transformation to anyone but yourself. Be your own masterpiece. And if you ever have the chance to walk into a room where you were once invisible, walk in head held high. Let them see exactly what they lost.